Hello and welcome on Watches TV, and we are in Le Brassus in the Vallée de Joux by Blancpain to talk about one incredible timepiece that has just been introduced. This is a Grande Sonnerie, Petite Sonnerie, minute repeater, tourbillon, QP, and more than 1,000 pieces within this 47mm watch. Christian, it's been a little while we haven't talked together. It's a real pleasure to see you again. And so tell us all about this incredible project.
First, it's a pleasure to see you today and to be able to present this incredible watch. It has been a big challenge for Blancpain, as you have seen during all the presentation today. All has been developed, created and produced in-house. It's a result of a lot of creativity, of innovation. We are talking about something very unique. Mr. Hayek wanted to have a Grande Sonnerie, but with something which has never been done before. It's a first Grande Double Sonnerie, which you can select the sonnerie. You can choose between the Westminster or Blancpain sonnerie. This is something very different. And as we talk about the melody, also the challenges were different. We are talking about tempo, precision of the notes. You have seen today that it has been something very difficult. And we have patented 21 exactly in total and 13 for the watch. It's something very unique. Also will help us for the future for new complication. So it's a know-how we have in-house, which is absolutely unique. And the size, as you have mentioned in the beginning, is very important for us. Mr. Hayek wanted to have something you can wear, not a piece of art which stays in the safe. You have to be able to wear it every day, and also so it has to be also resistant. It has to be something you can wear in different situations. Of course, perhaps not some extreme sport, but I mean, you know, this kind of Grande Sonnerie is something very unique. And it puts Blancpain in a certain level, and it shows that also what we have done with the team is not one exceptional watchmaker. I think it's a whole team who has done a fantastic job, and this is also the result of that. So it means that now we have two watchmakers who are trained to realize this kind of complication. As you know, Grande Sonnerie is the highest level of complication in the watchmaking industry. So it's something we are only a few brands are able to do that. And Blancpain, thanks to this complication, will also bring more light on what we do since many years and what we will do also in the future. And last but not least, the beauty is very important.
Let's go back on the Grande Sonnerie, indeed, because you do have this really absolutely unique feature of being able to play two different melodies. So indeed, you mentioned you have the Westminster chime and you have your own Blancpain chime. Can you develop a little bit on this, on the particularity of the mechanisms that you have, fully developed here?
There is a selector, which allow mechanically to choose between two melodies. One has been developed by Eric Singer for Mr. Hayek, who is his friend, and have a lot of constraints because you have only 4 notes which are the same as the Westminster, and the tempo you cannot choose also what you want, but it has been also a challenge to create something which sounds good. But the selection is very easy. It's also something we have tested many times, and what is also something very incredible that you cannot break anything. So when you select one of the two melodies, you cannot ring the Grande Sonnerie. So nothing is breakable. This is very important.
So you have 4 hammers. 4 gongs,
exactly.
And but each hammer is triggered by either one position of the selector or the other.
Yes,
you have a vertical clutch that you're using to enable you to select which melody that you're playing.
Thanks to a column wheel, you are able also to select. And this was smart because the column wheel is also a know-how we have since many years with, of course, a chronograph and also with the alarm. So we knew that it's a kind of selection we can use, but it was something which has never been done, of course, because But for me, the most amazing development is the shape, and it has been patented also, of the gongs, which is something very smart to have done that, because it allows to have the right notes, and it's one of the, for me, the most important patents. I think it will stay for the future also. I hope perhaps different brands also will use this in the future when the patent will not be.
But often gongs are cylindrical,
yes,
and this time you have flat gongs.
Yes. And with different section.
Yes.
This is very important, because the different section brings the right notes.
Another very interesting feature of on the chiming mechanism is the type of regulator that you're using, because you're using a magnetic regulator, and one of the advantages of it, of course, it is that doesn't make any sound whatsoever.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Yes, it's important because this regulator, first, it doesn't need a lot of power. So it's because when you create a Grande Sonnerie, the power is always important. As we didn't mention, but it has 96 hours for the whole watch, and 12 hours for the Grande Sonnerie, and 14 hours for the Petite Sonnerie. The regulator, magnetic regulator, is a patent. It's very important because first, it doesn't use a lot of power, as I said, but also it's small, and the watchmaker can adjust, I would say, and the tempo is very precise. And in a melody, it's very important because you can, if the melody is slow down or a little bit faster, you will hear that. So the regulation by this system is fantastic. And also this is a regulator already used by Breguet or other brand, but I think it from the Swatch group, but it's a very important patent.
Yeah, it makes
You're
total
right.
sense in this configuration.
And it's strange to use magnetism in a mechanic.
Yeah.
So it's the paradox is interesting also.
So 47 millimeter in width, but nonetheless it's pretty thin, considering the complexity and all this, right?
Yes.
And because, I mean, everything has been thought from blank piece of paper, so everything is integrated and everything needs to fit in. And so talking about the perpetual calendar, this is also quite an interesting feature that you have there.
Yes, we wanted to have a perpetual calendar and flying tourbillon. Flying tourbillon and not a carousel, because the flying tourbillon use a little bit less energy than the carousels. That's also very important. And the perpetual calendar is also retrograde. And to integrate it in the full movement, we had to create a new one, which has been done here. So also the beauty of the position of the indication is very in an harmony of the whole watch. And this is also something was very important. As I said before, beauty was very important also. So the position of the indication from the tourbillon and the day, the month, the leap year, and also the four hammers, you can see, was very important to have a balance between all the indication. This is what we have done.
Still continuing with the tourbillon, you have a tourbillon that is beating at 4 hertz, so could be indeed consuming a bit more energy in a certain way. Why this choice?
Question of precision. Also very important for Grande Sonnerie to be very precise, and also we make the best choice between power reserve and frequency. And 4 hertz it's very important for this watch. The tourbillon is, of course, it's a complication here, but it's more about the regulation. Yeah. This is very important also to have a good chronometry, and so it was 4 hertz we needed for this watch.
Let's talk about the aesthetic, because indeed all those components have been hand finished. The ones you see, the ones you don't see. The movement is in full gold.
Yes.
I mean, it has, just the base plate has quite an interesting architecture, let's put it that way, but also fully decorated. Tell us about the work on this finishing aspect.
First, we choose gold not for marketing aspect, but for aesthetic aspect, because all our people have a lot of experience, and they know that with gold you have a finishing which is more warm, and we play with the light, as you know. But the biggest challenge was the angles, as we have a very small components, very thin, Normally we have, in the watch industry, you have angles of 45, and here each time we show some prototypes from Mr. Hayek, he said, I would like to have more angles, how can we do that? And so our people here, our artists, they find a way to do it at 30 degrees, so you have more light coming on the angles, reflecting exactly, and that's you have been all made by hand, all in gold. But as I said, the result is the beauty. Playing with the lights is very important, and we have 135 angles rentrants, which is just amazing also. And our artists, they like also to finish what will be never been seen. When you do that, it's not a work, it's a passion, because you know that you do that just for the beauty of the geste. And I think it's something, it's philosophical.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, definitely setting the bar very, very high. Another little technical feat I would like to come back onto, because I found this one extremely interesting, is this kind of membrane that you've developed to augment the sound, but it's very cleverly kind of intertwined within the case itself. Tell us a little bit more about that.
It's also a challenge. It's something very difficult also to introduce in the case, and it's working like a speaker, and especially on the lower frequency, the diffusion is higher. And it works very well, but it's very difficult also to produce. That's the reason why we need a really specific know-how for that, because if you are not able to adjust exactly how you need to do it, there is no effect. But yes, it's clever. It has been patented also, and it's in gold. It's something which perhaps we will use also on a minute repeater or some different new models.
It's very interesting development for sure. Yeah, and I like the fact. I mean, this involves a bit of high tech, I would say, within the world of tradition in a certain way. It's really extremely interesting. So the watch by itself takes like 8 months to assemble for one watchmaker, first assembly and then disassembly, reassembly. So, I mean, we're not talking big volumes of production, I guess, with a piece like this one.
Well, in fact, you know, when we talk about assembly, a watchmaker uses 6 months to create the movement and the watch. Of course, there is only one watchmaker doing from A to Z, the whole watch. But discussing with the watchmaker, he said, yes, it's 6 months, but without counting the 5 months you need to put the furniture on the plate. So in total, it's 11 months of work for one watch, which is crazy also.
Absolutely.
And you have seen during the visit how many times they have to redo some components to be precise for the notes, for the tempo, and this is also something which is... And again, as we mentioned before, it's also a relation between scientific approach, which is done at the laboratory, and checking the precision of the sound, and a very traditional know-how, because at the end we are talking about people who are doing this by hand. So it's really something very paradoxal. So they leave sometimes the farm here to go to the laboratory, which is really more scientific, but they work very well together. And it's a fantastic journey. And these two watchmakers, also for them, it's something very unique, because they have been trained during 6 months each, and they have been selected. And the head of the atelier, for the first time, it's not him who is trained, because he has too much work. So he had to select 2 watchmakers, and now it's like you share with your team, and for him it's also something different, because he said, in the past I was doing that, now I pass this to my team, and so it's really a teamwork, and yes, it's a long journey. It's something very strange to come now after, we said 8 years, but there was a COVID in between, so it's almost 10 years. So the project has started when the watchmaking was also in some troubles, if you remember. But we see that we always need to invest in innovation, to bring these energies. This creativity is very important. The creativity is a result of this human relation, in human discussion, and I think we are very, very happy today.
Well, you can be happy, your team can be proud, and really a huge congrats. And seriously, I mean, when I saw this movement, it's rare that I've seen so much mechanical density. It's just impressive. I mean, there's no room left for anything. It's just
We find a small room to put the signature of the watchmaker. So each watchmaker is signing his own creation. This is very important. I don't know. I don't see where.
But we've seen it in the workshop. Okay. Indeed, yeah. Excellent. Well, again, congratulations. I'm very happy for you and for your team. And this is more than a talking piece.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And thanks to all the team Blancpain who has done the work. And I hope to see you next year again.
I hope so too.
And in 10 years for the 300th anniversary.
There we go. There we go. Well, thanks for watching. See you real soon. And well, you know the drill. Viva watchmaking.